Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Karine, a mom of two and a Montessori teacher. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about how to observe your child the Montessori way. And why is it important to observe your child? If you are familiar with Montessori, you probably are interested with the Montessori activities, the Montessori-inspired toys, and you want to set up a house that's going to nurture your child's independence. But to do so, you need to know about your child. You need to know about your child development. You need to know about your child interests. And to be able to set up your house and to provide the right activities that your child needs right now, you will need to observe your child. So watch this video to learn how to observe your child the Montessori way. Are you wondering what toys to give to your baby? Are you wondering what activities to provide to your preschool child? Or are you wondering how to set up your house for your child's needs? Those are all the questions that most parents ask me, especially what toys can I give to my child? And most of the time I receive also those questions, what can I give to my 2 years old? What can I give to my 16 months old? What can I give to a 4 years old? However, what activity or what toys to offer to a child is not based on age, but based on what the child is interested in or what the child is working on. You may be familiar with the saying, follow the child. But to do this, you need to know your child. You need to learn about your child's development. In Montessori terms, we talk about the sensitive periods and also the schemas of play. This is when your child focuses on one specific aspect of the environment and on not very much else. And it's perfectly normal and it's perfectly natural, and you should support that intense interest. Maria Montessori was a scientist, so she first observed the children, then she based a method of education on what she has observed. So really she taught us to follow the natural development of the child. She said, with my method, the teacher teaches little and observes much, and above all, it is her function to direct. Therefore, I have changed the name of the teacher into directress. So direct can also be understood as guiding. So you are a guide. My initial training is as a clinical psychologist. So observation was at the center of my training and of my career as a child psychotherapist. So when I had my children, I really wanted to observe them. It came naturally to observe them. It was maybe more about as they reaching the milestones. But when you change your focus onto, okay, what can I see in my child, whatever it is, how can I support my child's development? So without thinking about my child should reach that milestone, no, and without having any preconceived ideas and without having any goal in mind, then you're going to just observe without judgment and being able to just provide what your child needs. So instead of thinking, my child should read, or I should teach my child numbers, or maybe my child should know his colors, you're just going to focus on what your child is showing you right now, so what your child needs right now. But there is something more important to observe. It's you. You're going to have a part in the process. You're going to influence what's going on in your house. You're going to influence how your child is going to react to its environment. So it's quite important to also observe yourself and what you expect from your child, what you project onto your child, and how you're going to interact with your child, and constantly work on yourself to become, the best parent you can be. In fact, Maria Montessori compared the untrained teacher, which is like a bit us when we are new parents, to an elephant who trampled floor a bit. So yeah, she kind of encourage us to be more reflective and to really see the child as he is, as she is, to be really able to provide a prepared environment for your child. You observe to better prepare the environment, to understand what skill your child needs to work on, and you also observe yourself as a facilitator or a hindrance to your child's development. Observing your child will help you to know what to present next, to understand what sensitive periods your child is in and what are your child's interests. But how to observe your child without trampling on the flowers? Here are my tips to observe your child. It's very unlikely that you're going to be able to plan a set time to observe your child. So just be prepared when an opportunity arises. So I used to have a little notepad next to me when I was at home with the children, and I would jot some notes here and then when I was noticing something in my children's behavior or my children's interest, and so on. So when you start to observe your child, you do not need to interact in that moment with your child. It's better to be discreet and just try to have this kind of neutral position when you don't ask questions to your child, when you don't direct the play, when you just take notes about what's going on. The most difficult thing basically is not to judge what your child is doing. For example, you might think, oh, he's picking up that toy again, the one that makes so much noise. Or you might think, okay, he doesn't have any interest in that little activity that I've set up. Or all he wants to do is to climb on the sofa. So we start to put a judgment on what's going on. And we do that judgment according to our own agenda, basically. We have some expectations about our children, and it's the most difficult thing in parenting is to kind of move away from those expectations and just see our children as they are. Know what to observe. In my Montessori parenting e-course, I give you a lot of information about what to observe in details, and we go through all the child development, the sensitive periods, and the schemas together. In this video, I don't give you that much details about sensitive periods, but if you Google that, you will find a lot of information. You can also download my What to Observe handy list to have a good idea of what to observe. So, you can observe your child's fine motor skills, and especially the grasp, or does he hold a pencil, for example, or a toy. You can observe your child's gross motor skills. And so, is he walking already? Does he like to climb, to jump, standing on one leg, and so on. You can observe your child's language skills. What sounds does your child make? What words does your child have? Does he like stories, nursery rhymes, singing, and so on. You can observe your child's interest. You can observe your child's social development. How does he interact with other children? How does he interact with other adults? How does he seek interaction? Another way to observe your child would be to focus on the sensitive period. So I will do an extra videos about sensitive period. But if you focus on one of the sensitive periods, that was for me a very easy way to focus on my children, to observe my children. Or you can also focus on the schemas of play. If is your child transporting, is your child likes to spin around, is your child likes to connect toys together. So it's just a different way to observe children. So I hope this video was helpful about what to observe, and please download my handy list, and that will help you to know what to observe, and after that, what to provide to your children. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.